But first, Brendan Kerin has to be the last straw. I mean, this man gave a welcome to country at Saturday's AFL semi-final that just showed that this supposed traditional ceremony has become an insult to our intelligence. It shows us that this reconciliation movement is actually turning us into a nation of liars. Here's this Kerin from Sydney's Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council doing his welcome.
And I'm here this evening to perform a ceremony of welcome to country. A welcome to country is not a welcome to Australia. Within Australia we have many Aboriginal lands and we refer to our lands as country. So it's always a welcome to the lands you're gathered on. A welcome to country is not a ceremony that we've invented to cater for white people. It's a ceremony we've been doing for 250,000 years plus BC, and the BC stands for before Cook.
Now, for a start, that's the most unwelcoming welcome I've ever heard. I mean, how much did the AFL pay this guy for making non-Aboriginal Australians feel like strangers in their own land? But more importantly, 250,000 years. This Brendan Kerin says Aborigines have been here for 250,000 years doing welcome to country ceremonies, and all that time. For one, I've got to ask, how would he even know? But second, what utter nonsense. Our human subspecies, Homo sapiens sapiens, that's us, hadn't evolved anywhere 250,000 years ago. There weren't any modern humans around to welcome or to do the welcoming. Now, the truth is that most of the credible science I've seen says Aborigines were actually here for 40,000 years. But our Prime Minister now says, no, that's not enough. They were here 65,000 years ago.
In recognition of 65,000 years of history, vote yes.
But that claim is based on one outlier study that's since been debunked by some scientists in 2 papers, but fake Aboriginal Professor Bruce Pascoe and activist Stan Grant think even 65,000 years isn't enough. It's 100,000.
100,000 years of culture and history.
and now this guy, the footy, says, no, even 100,000 isn't enough. 250,000. We've been doing welcomes to country for 250,000 years. And each time, they keep going up. You're supposed to go, that's right, until one day someone's going to trump them all and claim, Aborigines were hunting with the dinosaurs. In fact, this kind of welcome to country ceremony wasn't invented 250,000 years ago, but just 48. It was actually invented in this form in 1976 by television presenter Ernie Dingo and musician Richard Wiley, who did it for a festival in Western Australia. Now, it's true that there were previously other forms of welcome, but few people actually want to mention them now because they make traditional Aboriginal societies look bad, even brutal. And these days, any truth that does that is called a lie, or it's called racist. Now, Ernie Dingo himself has said one form of welcome involved elders taking the sweat from under their arms and running it down the side of your shoulders so that any spirits can smell the sweat on you and work out you're okay. Another tradition actually was more horrific. Adolphus Peter Elkin, he's a famous professor of anthropology here, detailed it in his classic, The Australian Aborigines, How to Understand Them, the final edition of which was published in 1964 when there still was a thing called truth. Now, Elkin wrote that tribes made peace or welcomed strangers by sending over their women for sex. Robert Hughes, in his best-selling History of the Fatal Shore, recorded the very same. He said, as a mark of hospitality, wives were lent to visitors whom the Eora tribesmen wanted to honour. If a woman showed the least reluctance, she would be furiously beaten or even speared. But of course, we don't say these things now because it seems unkind to Aborigines, We've got to believe sweet lies instead. And that is how the reconciliation movement, yes, is turning us into a nation of liars. If you accept the lies, if you say nothing, you're a good person. If you insist on the truth, if you had booed that guy, you're a racist. That's how we're being turned into a nation of liars. Facts are false if they seem mean. Lies are true if they make you seem nice. So the bigger the lie, the better person you are to believe it. And around Australia now, a very woke individual saying 250,000 years they've been here. Look how good I am. But I'll give you other examples. Stolen generations. That's now taught in schools as fact. Up to 100,000 Aboriginal children stolen from their loving parents. In fact, I've challenged activists for decades. Name even 10 children. 10 who were stolen by officials just because they were Aboriginal. Well, our courts have not identified even one. No one's met my challenge, not one. But to say that, of course, now is racist. It's true, but it's racist. Even in our universities, the truth is not what's true, but what's nice. So, the Australian National University teaches Aborigines could have been our world's earliest astronomers. Gee whiz. And that's why Melbourne University hired a fake Aborigine, Bruce Pascoe, as an enterprise professor in Indigenous agriculture, a false discipline created after Pascoe falsely claimed in his fake history Dark Emu that Aborigines had actually been farmers in towns of 1,000 people. This whole circus has got to stop. And we've got to start with these divisive welcome to countries. Who on earth do they help? Apart, of course, from the elders getting the fees to dress up and perform and vent their rage at the white society that pays them. Is that how we're supposed to move on together, with this racial division, with this racial resentment, and with us having to swallow such incredible lies?